Here we go. Welcome back to episode number 2 of It's About Damn Time. I am your host, Sid Da Vinci, joined by my co-host, Mr. Prince of Petty, and also Mr. July Winter. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me once again today. Well, let's get right into it. We got some great topics to talk about today. I'm actually going to hand the floor to Mr. Petty. He's got some things that he actually wanted to talk about, and we're going to give him the floor. So hop on it.
What up, what up, what up?
So,
You know what? I forgot I wanted to have my headset on. Don't be mad at me. Edit this part out.
I asked you about them fires you need to extend. I'm messing with you. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, man.
how y'all brothers doing? How was y'all weekend?
Man, it was pretty chill, relaxing. Nothing much to it, Watched some UFC. I've been watching tons of that. Also been thinking about maybe delving into some new projects as well, with maybe doing like a UFC channel as well. So, we'll see perhaps when that might come about. But in the meantime, yes, sir. What's that you got there? What's that cup you say? What's that say?
Oh, it's my OK Promotions and just building an empire. Just a little motivation, I guess.
Build the empire.
But yeah, it's the logo for a little business. I got a promotional company.
Ooh, okay. I see.
So
I love it.
We building. 2020 year the visionaries.
Yes, sir. Well, I definitely appreciate the inspiration, and I will definitely stay inspired, my brother. Thank you.
Sure.
But hopping back to things, I think Mr. Petty's got his headphones on now, so we're gonna give him the floor. What you got to say, my friend?
What up, Pop? Just call me Pop, Prince of Petty. Nah, to my gentlemen, what's going on? Blessings.
What's up, brother?
Blessed up.
Always a pleasure to see you, gentlemen, in good health. So we've had the opportunity to speak a little bit off of cam about the topic that we'll be speaking on to this episode. It kind of touched me this past weekend. So jump right into it. We're going to speak about gun violence. And we're just going to really dive into it from my perspective, and how it's affected our America, really, or just our communities. I'll start by telling the story before I even jump into the statistical parts of it. This weekend, a gentleman that I've had the pleasure and the great opportunity to coach in football as he's grown, was involved in an incident where he was shot twice in his lower extremities. He was rushed to surgery where they deemed he'll make a full recovery. So it really just hit home. Like I've never been a huge proponent of guns. I've never really been into guns like that. So I've served in the military, so clearly I've used them. But I've never really been one to advocate them, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think that has to do with me being a part of the old school way of doing things, where if you had a situation, you put your hands up and you fought it out, and then you had a conversation about it later. I think that we have a lot of kids with fears and anxieties of what that might do to them, and they resort to the greatest common denominator rather than taking the necessary steps to, they don't even like get into arguments. It's literally, I don't like this person, I'm just going to shoot him. And so I don't know how we got into these cowardice ways, where we were too afraid to take an L and then keep it moving, but that's where we're at. And, actually, before I even jump into the statistical part of it, gentlemen, if you had anything you wanted to speak on just based on what I said, please feel free to. So with that being said, so we're gonna reference Google right now. That was my first reference. Obviously, They're huge. Love Google. In 2017, gun deaths reached the highest level since 1968. That's like, now, of course, the argument with that would be the population has grown. So, of course, the numbers will grow, right? Of that 39,773, 23,000 were by suicide and 14 by homicide. Now, we just talked about taking the coward's way of grabbing a weapon and trying to, I think in their eyes, defend themselves. Now what they're doing is grabbing the weapon and turning it on themselves. 23,000 of the 39,000 are suicides, like unprecedented number. The rate of firearm deaths per 100,000 people rose from 10.3% to a full 12% in 2017. 109 people die per day by gun violence. That's like, now granted, this is a 2017 stat. So that tells me that the numbers definitely has rose since then. That's like, that isn't even, I can't even fathom to think about why that number is that number. Like, it's like, it's not even my realm of thinking that when I have an issue with you, I'm just gonna go and the gun is the answer. Like, it doesn't even pop in my mind. So that's why for me, this subject is really, I don't really even have answers. This is more of me asking questions to my brothers, because it leaves me emotional and baffled to the point where I'm just like, why? Like, why? Why is in your mind, in your thought process, that's the first thing, or even a necessary thing? See, these are not even, so right now we have the whole, police violence thing, but these are not police numbers. These numbers I'm spitting out right now are not even police numbers. These are civilian on civilian actions going towards each other. Like, this is, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so it's hard for me to even get to the next step, which is the police violence, because I'm still stuck on our violence towards ourselves. And I'm mad at myself because I should have looked at the stats of how many people die from hand-to-hand combat. That's what I should have looked up, and I may do it if when one of my brothers interject. I may look that stat up, because I can't imagine the numbers being anywhere near those numbers where someone's been punched to death. Maybe they've been choked. We're so worried about concussions, and things of that nature. I get it, but the gun violence is crazy. It's just unnecessary.
And if I may, for just a quick moment, I'm just going to hop in here and asking more so, because I know we talked a little bit about it, but asking more so for the audience. What is it if you're the coach and you're athlete? Like, what is it if you're the coach and he's, what is that?
No, he's my kid.
Well, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to think right now for just a brief. If you're the coach, what are one of your players? Okay, so that's better. Yeah. I lost my train of thought for a moment, but he did make it. He did pull through the shooting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I misunderstood the question, because I'm of the mindset that like it takes a village to raise a child. So as my kids develop and they grow and they go along, you feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be dad. But there's gonna be, if the coach is a male, there's gonna be the dad that's dad when I'm away. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it is a village. Like, I'm dad. Like, I'm the father. But there's gonna be people, males and females, that are gonna influence them in a manner that hopefully aligns with the way I'm doing things. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm expecting of them. So that's why I misunderstand the initial.
No, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to ask if he was I didn't know how to
say player.
One of your players.
Player.
So that's good. I'm glad that he did pull through. The gun violence obviously is something that has plagued our society for quite some time. and seemingly is not going to stop. Ammunition is something that is certain kinds of ammunition right now is something that's very hard to find. And that's just due to the fact that people are pulling them off the shelves left and right. I too, knowing a little bit about what our discussion was going to be about, I did a little bit of research myself here. Now, not pertaining to your particular situation there. And once again, my condolences out to him and his family. I do hope he a speedy recovery. But this here was based out of Chicago. As we all know, Chicago, absolute jungle of a place right now, you know, with just the amount of killings. And there seem
certain parts.
Yes, the South Side seems to be, because certain parts they won't allow that kind of stuff to go down. But the South Side seems to be a little bit more affected, a lot more affected by this than any other area.
Maybe we
can
talk about why that is a little bit later, but continue.
I'm here for that.
For sure.
Why it is that certain parts of Chicago are systemically, introduced to more violence than per se northern Chicago or the downtown districts of Chicago or things like that, the suburban areas, because it's a thriving community down there that seems to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining, but then in certain parts, like you said, it's a jungle,
jungle.
So we know why that is, but we'll dig deeper into that. But continue, my brother, please.
Definitely, and we definitely will dig deeper because that in itself is a whole another topic.
Yeah, I don't want to get distracted. Yeah,
no, you're right, and appreciate that. So what I'm looking at here, this is some information that was actually provided by Google itself. The nation's third most populous city has recorded 490 murders in 219. That being Chicago. Now, that was about 13% lower than the 2018 murder rate, which was at 564 murders in 2018. The word that you used before, unfathomable, Petty, that's unfathomable numbers to think about. 564 murders. And I can almost guarantee, I try not to speculate, but if we look a little bit deeper into those numbers, I can almost guarantee that a ridiculous amount of those numbers were African-American, of the African-American community.
And how many are open cases of that 500?
Oh, man. You see what I mean? These are so many. This is why we have these questions to ask ourselves, and where we should also do a better job of not only asking these questions, but then trying to get some answers to these. So for our audience and ourselves, this isn't where the journey ends as to when we discuss some of this stuff. This is where it's almost the beginning, where we're trying to figure out exactly where can we get to the bottom of this? Where can we start getting some answers on some of these numbers that we're talking about? Because this should not be the case. Leading into this year, 6 months into the year, 329 people have been killed in Chicago. That's an increase of about 34% from the 246 homicides during the same period last year. So the numbers are already about a little less than 100 more than where they were already stood last year. So they're starting to go back up again. I really don't know what the answer is. I think the problem is that we have a lot of young individuals that are running around and have we've lost our values. I don't know much about gangs and things like that, but I do believe that once upon a time gangs had values and morals where it went, you don't mess with children. You don't mess with grandmas or you don't mess with older folks. There used to be a code. Now the code is get it done however you got to get it done by any means. by any means necessary is the code, it seems. And so when I see somebody walking around with a gun, yeah, I'm in my mind, I'm wondering, why do they need to be walking around with that? But then I refer back to these numbers here. 564 murders in 2018, 329 murders already and counting. Let me get this pulled up here. It just doesn't stop. It does not stop. We're looking at shootings here. At least 14 people wounded in a mass shooting outside a funeral home in Chicago. This happened a day ago. 10 hours ago, reported 3 killed, 7 wounded in a shooting that happened Wednesday, July 22nd. How are you not supposed to walk around with the gun? How are you not supposed to walk around with some type of protection to say, you know what? If somebody wants to do harm to me, at least I know that I did my justice in trying to return the favor. And I get it. The Bib goes back into biblical times. Thou shalt not kill. I don't ever have any intention on killing, but I have a hard time with wanting to or allowing somebody else to do harm to me without not trying to at least survive myself. I'll let somebody else give their input.
This situation to me, bringing it back to Prince of Petty, back to your original, topic and situation, it reminds me of something. It can't help but, bring back something that I feel like is relevant that a lot of us miss, and it's about the violence that we face in our communities, Me, myself, and a couple of my childhood friends, the environment we were in was a lot just conducive to that type of activity. Like I can say wholeheartedly and honestly, by the age of maybe 13, I was able to go into my neighborhood liquor store and buy alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 13 years old. Like it's an Arab guy with a feather or a red dot, behind the counter. He knows I'm a kid, bro. But he lets me come in there, give him the money, and I walk out with the liquor. Now it's me and 3 or 4 of my other friends, same age, 14, 13, 11, kids. We're drinking. We getting lit. We going to parties and shit and trying to have a good time. Now you got this introduction of guns, a surplus just being available to these kids. Like if I'm 14 years old in a party and I'm on alcohol and I have a gun, like what kind of self-control do you expect me to have? Like what that environment itself is just, I've lost a friend, rest in peace, Charles, B.I.P. Charles, you know what I'm saying, baby Charles. We were probably, I know for a fact I was 15. Baby Charles was probably 12. And he was hanging out with us. Everybody in this house party, we getting drunk and we turning up. And, one of our other partners, you feel me? I ain't gonna say his name or whatever, but one of our other partners was there. He sauced up too. You know what I'm saying? He like 17. You feel me? He a little bit older. And he gets kicked out of the party. You feel me? For, being belligerent and, being sauced up, turning up. You know what I'm saying?
Acting
Wow.
up,
And he gets kicked out of the party. But they also kick out, you know what I'm saying, another young buck with him. You feel me? He like 14 years old. He's got a gun on him. As soon as the bouncer kicks them out the party and shuts the door, they just start shooting through the door. Like it was an instinctual, just a click. Like they didn't think about that. Like there's no judgment there. That's, oh, my feelings hurt. They threw me out the party. If I can't have fun, no one can. I expect that type of attitude from a kid that's, you know what I'm saying, selfish and drunk probably right now with a gun. How did we allow this to happen? How do we allow this type of stuff to invade our neighborhoods? You know what I'm saying? And then we blame us. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to blame that kid. He was rotten. You know what I'm saying? Or he was destined for this and this, that, and the third. But it's like, look at the environment. Chicago, look at the environment. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll bring it back around. You got these white guys out here. They had a white guy. His name is TJ. Y'all can look this up. TJ down in Florida, Polk County, I believe, right? This guy was getting arrested from the age of 12 years old, right? White kid, 12 years old. He's like 27 now. This guy has been convicted 11 times, and he has a rap sheet of 200 and I believe 36 felonies, right? How is this man still? He's right now out on bond for a triple homicide at a fishing lake. So how is this man? Do you believe in 3 strikes you're out? Have you ever heard that? Does that only apply to us? Like that begs the question. Like what kind of system are we playing in? You know what I'm saying? We're playing a system that will trade your life out for another. You know what I'm saying? You'll go to the same office for the same court for the same charge, and we'll slap somebody on the wrist. You know what I'm saying? If we feel like it's justifiable, and then we'll give you the burden of all of that with that same crime. You'll take the butt of that joke. This system is rigged for us. It's a trap. You know what I'm saying? It is. It truly is, and it takes a lot of lives. You know, but I said all that to say this, man. Like it has to stop. It's devastating that we're losing brothers every day to violence. If we don't show no unity, if we're not capable of showing unity and compassion amongst ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That begs the argument, why should anybody else? You know what I'm saying? Like that begs the question. And I just feel like it's a topic where we want to be above reproach. You know, we don't want anyone to be able to even think that. You know, we want to be so tight-knit so you can't penetrate. You know, we're not going to do that. We're not going to destroy each other. We can talk it out. We can fight it out. You know what I'm saying? We can throw fists if it gets to that point, but why we can't have a conversation? I think we hate ourselves. I think that some of us buy into the stereotype and the statistic, you know? I think some of us don't understand when we keep calling each other nigga. What's up, nigga? Nigga. Yeah, we might have think we changed the meaning, but, you know, subconsciously we are condoning, you know what I'm saying, that representation, you know? So I just feel like, you know, it's a lot of confusion. I feel like us as a people, we just need to wake up. We need to understand our environment. If you in a place where you need to carry a gun, you probably shouldn't be there. You know? Like if you're in a place where you think you have to be armed, then you probably, if you know that, you probably shouldn't be there. This is the thing when to bring Tory up, just to go on a side note here. You know what I'm saying? You're Tory Lanez. You know, you're Tory freaking Lanez. There's no, and you're partying with Kylie and another chick. Like, bro, you're in Hollywood Hills. You know what I'm saying? You made it. So it goes to back the question. It's here, man. You know what I'm saying? We have to all realize that we got to start with us. It's here. You know, or nobody else is gonna respect us. You know, or respect our lives. You know.
Facts. I think you're definitely spot on with the mental aspect of it. It's definitely there. I mean, you think about to take your example, Tory Lanez, for instance. You think about why he would do something like that. When, you know, I have to assume that in his eyes, it's not him jeopardizing anything as far as his career or his life. When you have fear, when fear leads your life, you do things reactively. You're no longer being proactive. You're now being reactive when you live through fear. So when you think about the things that as a famous person have to live through with the anxieties of, is this person going to come at me? Is this person going to come at me? I understand why they carry weapons. I get it. And I get it, I get it why those people would do that. I don't believe in it because I feel like you have to be the change you want to see. So if you don't want to see somebody walking around carrying their gun, you can't be walking around carrying your gun because you feel like somebody's going to come at you.
Exactly.
You've got to be that change. You feel me? So for me, I firmly believe that I'm against violence. I'm a very passive person, but I know how to handle myself, and I believe other people should. So that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have guns. I'm not saying someone don't go take up self-defense. No, take it. You need it if someone tries you. I understand that. So, but like you think about Florida and their stand your ground law. All that did was license cowards to kill people. And I'm not even going to bring race into it because here's the situation. We as Black people have to make smarter decisions. You cannot be mad because a white person is taking advantage of the law. You can't be. You've got to educate yourself on the things that are out there first and foremost. As an adult, and I got it, systematically, you're not even taught to even research. You're not even, your parents will tell you, I don't know, and then you just don't know. Whereas a family from a middle class may say, well, I know, but I want you to go find out. So why don't you go research and then come tell me the answer? That's what's going to happen. 9 times out of 10, that's why you see the success rate going hand in hand with parent association when it comes to their children, right? You know what I mean? But that's another subject.
Altogether, man, it's despicable. You know, it's disgusting.
Yeah, facts.
It's reminiscent of a time where nothing, a very dark time where nothing matters. You know, like it brings the question like, hey, if we're gonna do this to ourselves, if we're gonna do this to each other, then what's to stop anybody from looking? And then we don't even come together at the end of that. So it's not even like, you know how you have a situation where I'm your brother, me and you having a tussle, and somebody else comes in and then, tries to tussle with us. We turn and beat them up.
Yeah.
Take them out. You know what I'm saying? And then we get back to our fighting. It's not even to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like we're taking each other out at such an alarming rate. Before you can even have that moment to, you know what I'm saying, interjection to happen, you done killed your brother. You done killed your backup. They've already systematically been taking out, massacre, taking us out of here. You know what I'm saying? Getting us off of these streets with the most haste. You know what I'm saying? Expeditious like. What did you do? Oh yeah, you out of here. Like, what? It was one mistake. They're getting us out of here. And then we taking each other out. You feel me? Like we aided in the genocide. You know what I'm saying? We doing
for sure.
effectively playing into that role.
It's like at extinctional rates.
At extinctional rates. What do you do with everybody else that's colored in this community? You can kick them out and make them go back home. The Africans here, if they don't follow rules, if they don't follow the guidelines of America, they can get deported. We can kick you out of America. Asians, they can go back to Asia. You feel me? They can deport these other people. Indians, they can go back to, they can get rid of them. They can't get rid of Black people. They have nowhere to send us. What do you do with a community of people that you no longer have a need for? You used us for what you needed us for. You exploited us for what you exploited us for. And now we don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Like we could function very well without you. We got a whole other, we got Mexican, we got everybody that could come in and take y'all place and fulfill what we need done if we need something. What do we do with y'all? We can't send y'all home. We can't deport y'all. Now we got to come up with a system within a system to eliminate. You know what I'm saying? That's the only, systematically, it has to work. And it's been proven. It's been shown. We're now dealing with the ramifications of this. You know what I'm saying? We're now seeing the detriment of it. You know, like, how do we reverse that?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think the reversal process has to come with us first changing our own internal perspective on everything, not just certain things, everything. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that if you're a spiritual person and you used to live in a certain religion, I'm not saying that you should forget that. I'm saying that's your base. You need to forget all the worldly things. If you're a spiritual person, a religious person, that's your base. Let that be your base and forget all the other worldly things, because your base is what you should have been listening to in the first place. For those that follow that. So with that being said, you got to change the way we teach people. You got to change the way we talk to people. The way we deal with people on a daily basis has to change. And that's everyone. You feel what I'm saying? You can't live, for instance, we're going to get off the gun violence for a quick second. You can't say you're a Christian and then say you hate homosexuals. That's not what the Bible says. Last time I checked. So when I say, I use that example to say is that we've got to learn first that our job is to love you as a human being. And then everything we learn from you, that's how we will judge you based on what you show me. See, we all come in with preconceived notions that we don't even get from our own experience. We get from what we've been told, what we've heard.
What we've absorbed.
And then, yes, and then our experiences are pushed based on the narrative we've already started. If you think something's wrong for a long time, it's never going to be right. Not until you change the way you think. It could have been right all along, but if you think it's wrong from birth to 30 plus, it's going to be wrong. So you got to change the way you do.
Every validation.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got to change the way we deal with human beings, period. So how does that tie into the gun violence? If I'm dealing with you as a human being, as a person that I know has to breathe, has to eat, has to sleep, has to drink water. If I'm dealing with you as that, like that, I'm less likely to deal with you without sympathy. I'm gonna have sympathy for you because I see you as a human being. I don't see you as a black male with a black cap and a black sweatshirt on, a black male with dreads. I see you as a human being. So let me talk to you as such.
How my question is, because I get that, brother, and I'm in total agreement with you, right? Don't get it twisted. I'm in total agreement with you. But how is that possible when everywhere you turn there's conditioning going on for you to dehumanize the black man? Every sitcom you watch, just about it's a stereotypical image that is being pushed and promoted. And if you're like everyone else who's consumed by all these distractions, you're gonna feed into that. You're gonna buy into that. If there's a black guy that gets in trouble and the police murder him and they say, well, look, he deserved it because this what type of guy he was. He was a felon. He was a crook. He did this, that, and the third. He was destined for prison. This is his backstory. It ain't nice, people. We did a good job. It's justice. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get the common person, the majority, you know what I'm saying, to look at that as, they're dehumanizing these guys on everything they're doing is to project this image that these guys are dangerous. These certain stereotypes of, like you said, a black man in a hoodie. And which is crazy because even from our vantage point, it's so deep. You can't tell me as a black man, if you walking down the street in a unfamiliar neighborhood and you see three fellas in hoodies walking past you or coming down on you, you're gonna feel a way. You might not project that the same way, another might, but you're gonna notice that. You know what I'm saying? It's so programmed, that's how we feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you combat that? You know what I'm saying? It's on a different level.
So I'll work my way backwards, starting with the last thing you said. So for me, I live a vigilant lifestyle, and I'll share it on the airways. It's not something I do publicly really, but I do suffer from PTSD. So I live a vigilant lifestyle, like you just said, but that for me has nothing to do with color, has nothing to do with race.
Okay.
I'm that way with everyone. And I'm very protective by nature. So for me, it has nothing to do with race. So I get what you're saying. There are people out there that it stems deeper. Then secondly, I think it's about living your truth as honestly as you can, and then not living through fear, but in faith that your truth is good enough to change someone. Not that that is your purpose, because then you might start doing things consciously and not living your unconscious life. You feel what I'm saying? You start doing things, okay, I want to change them. No. Having faith means doing everything that you always do, that it'll be good enough to perhaps change someone else. And we live by fear so much in 2020 that faith doesn't even have a place in our lives nowadays. And people were going to say, well, I ain't religious, I don't believe in God. No, I'm not saying have faith in the religion, not in the spiritual. I'm saying not living in fear, creating an avenue for faith to take over. That's faith in whatever it is you want it to be in, that's going to make you be the best you. You get what I'm saying? And we don't have that. We live in fear. We like, yo, the person next to me, I can't trust them. I don't know what they're going to do. And I'm kind of cool until they show me differently. Whereas before it was like, until you give me a reason, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And that's what we need. We need more compassion, more sympathy, more empathetic people to be like, look, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you a chance, because we don't want to be hurt. That's the biggest thing. We are so sensitive as a community that we don't even want to be hurt. It's not even like, all right, you hurt me once, I ain't gonna let you do it again. Remember that? Remember, you do me once, on me. Do me twice. No, we don't even do, you're not gonna get over me once. I'm gonna make sure that you don't even get a chance to hurt this thing right here. This wall's up, no hurt, it's not gonna happen. Hurt is necessary. Hurt is okay. Hurt is what's gonna allow us to understand that I'd rather love than to hate. Because people are walking around right now with so much hate and they hurt because they never even been hurt. They've been avoiding hurt so long and hating so long, they don't even know what hurt is. They just like, oh, I'm gonna hate. But I guarantee if they gave someone the opportunity to even hurt them a little bit and find out what that love felt like, they're gonna be like, fuck that, love conquers everything. Shoot, hurt me? Shoot, if I know the end result is somebody's gonna love me, I will take this little bit of hurt.
Oh, girl said, shoot me in the foot.
You feel me? Oh, God. We going to get on that. I forgot about that.
Hey,
show me you care.
I want to say on the topics, definitely some good feedback and good input on both of those topics. I want to say on the topic itself, I think both of y'all are kind of hit it right on the head where it's a lack of compassion. You got people walking around here that are just angry, really, when it comes down to what I wanted to say essentially about the topics itself was I'm gonna give y'all two scenarios. I'm gonna give you two quick scenarios here. For instance, I'm gonna say, let's say I walk into a gas station and I tell the lady, I go and grab my items or whatever, and I take my items and I throw them on the counter and I say, here, here's my items, just throw them on the counter recklessly. Also, give me a pack of smokes too. You know what I'm saying? Get up there and I say it with just the utmost just disrespect, no kind of compassion behind it at all. So there's that scenario there. And then I'm going to give you this scenario here where somebody walks in and they say, can I please have, let me use a fast food restaurant opposed to a gas station restaurant. Let me use a fast food. So you go to your fast food restaurant and let me get a number one, or give me a number one, large, extra with extra whatever. Opposed to, may I please have a number one, large, please and thank you. So although these are just like very small, just kind of comparisons as to the bigger picture of life ain't always going to be a please and thank you. You understand? I get that. But my point is, what I'm trying to make is, I make it a point. I make it an absolute effort every day, anywhere that I go, to say to someone, please and thank you. Any type of service that I might be receiving from somebody else. Because first of all, they don't have to be there. And I get it. If they're not there, somebody else is going to be there because that's just how big business works. But the point is this. We are dealing with human beings, like you said. The moment we realize that we are dealing with human beings, and it's not just another insignificant thing that we've taken for granted in life, which we often do, then we might be able to kind of get to a point where we start to see some of these numbers decrease, that we start to see a little bit more unity in our society. We start to see, just like you say, people living in fear. The other day I went to the gas station. There was a girl, it was early in the morning, and a girl was paying for something. And she had a $100 bill. And it was early in the morning to the point to where they didn't have enough money in the cash register. And so essentially when I walked in there, the bill was like 40 something. I think it was like $44 or something like that. She was getting like a charger for her phone and a couple like little energy drinks or something like that. Without question, I handed my card over. I said, I was grabbing a few other items, but without any question at all, I didn't know this chick, but I knew that she probably needed these items. I handed my card over. I got my items too. It came out to like $49, more than I ever intended on spending at that gas station that day. My point is this: I don't live in fear. I don't got it like that. I don't bring in money like that to where I can afford to come meet a stranger and say, here goes $50 or here goes 40 some dollars. But because I saw that something needed to be done at that moment, I did it. And so my point is this: we can sit here all day and we can talk about what needs to be done and what we think should be done about it. But until we start making the actions and doing what we need to do to start to see some of these changes, then it's going to always continuously be the same cycle that we've been looking at for quite some time, to the point that maybe, like we talked about, extinctual. Like these are some things that we really need to take, in consideration, really, as not just the African American race, but as a whole world. Because the same way I could poke somebody or poke myself and blood start to come out and that turn red, that's the same way that somebody else is. They bleed red just like me. So we got to get past this whole. And I know we all a little bit more, we incline, on a different level of thinking where we can see past all of that. But there's a lot of people
sometimes I can't.
I get it, and
sometimes it's regularly scheduled programming.
It comes from upbringing. It comes from where you from. I get it.